Hello, welcome to Chess with Simon. I'm Simon. It's the weekly chess club tournament, which is always a real pleasure. I guess I'm going to play Mark Sayers first. Let's do this. I'm not going to play Berserk. I'm just going to play slowly, solidly. I'm going to enjoy myself. Mark's going to play the advanced variation. I'm going to play c5. He's going to play c3. I'm going to play knight c6. He's going to play knight f3. Oh, this is different. I don't know, should we take that? Let's take it. But then what do we do? Queen b6 or something? The point is it hits the b2 pawn. I guess bishop f5 is on the way. I think this is quite a nice sequence by white. Although I'm not sure white's got an advantage here. An opening advantage, but white's doing okay. This? Are there any risks here? Do I want to pin that knight? I'm not sure if I do. I'm not sure what it achieves. Well, Mark's thought about that too. Knight e7, knight f5 is the idea. Knight e7, knight f5. My bishop doesn't really have a square. The only square the bishop has is e7. So I really want to move the knight first because the knight can't go to h6 because there's two pieces covering h6. So my idea is to go knight e7, knight f5, and then to go bishop e7, and then to castle on the king's side. And then just to see what's up. I'm quite pleased the bishop's there because actually I was worried about the knight going to that square. Okay. So, yeah, okay, takes. We take with the pawn, I think. Now that does create a backward pawn, but I'm not overly worried about that. Do I play c5 here? Ugh! c5, pawn takes, bishop takes, knight a4 looks unpleasant. Doesn't it? So if it's unpleasant, let's avoid it. Okay, solid and sensible. We're going to castle. We're going to look for our chance to play c5, I think. Mark's playing super well. Okay, well, I haven't thought about this in enormous detail, but we can't allow that clamp to continue. So we will have to try to remove it. Now, what's my best guess for white here? Push. Takes on a5. I think then I take with the queen. Well, I don't know, actually. Oh, that's a good move. Well, it's certainly not a move I expected, but it looks sensible. Okay. Let's not panic. So now, I'm kind of keen to take on e3, actually. Knight c5 certainly an idea, although I think maybe then I just take on a3 with the rook. Of course, taking on b4 is now a problem. Okay. So let's take here and see if he takes with the queen. If he takes with the queen, then I take on b4. Oh, I don't take on a3, do I? Because there's nothing there. Okay. This is quite a tense game. Takes with the queen. Okay. Well, why don't we just do this? Square the rooks. Now, rook b1 would be a mistake. After queen b3, well, even after... Okay, so there's no queen b6 because of the knight fork. So we have to play this to prevent the knight fork. On d7. And then queen b6 is coming. I really like the bishop on g6 because it's sort of just defending everything. Oh, now he's... Oh, this is annoying. The knight forks back on the cards. What do I do? What do I do? Just swap, I guess. Does the knight fork matter? Yes, it does. Okay, I'm going to play this just to stop any back rank tricks. Not sure there were any, but you know, might need to think about it later. Rook b5, queen b8, rook b5, queen b8. I think. So I think it's quite, yeah, good move. Can't let that happen. Just back up, right? Now the back rank tricks may be back on the agenda. I mean, weirdly, I could probably play bishop g5. It doesn't leave an eternal knight there, but I'm not sure how much it matters. I maybe can play around it, maybe. I mean, the problem with back rank tricks is you might have bishop f8, but then he might have knight d7, so there are risks around this. I mean, actually, straight away, if I played rook b5, does he play rook a8? Not straight away, probably, because then bishop f8 probably gets me out of jail. I could just stroll my king over to e8. This is bad. This is real bad. Hadn't seen this at all. Okay. Okay. Okay, this is bad. Well. Okay. Yeah, no, this has got to be played straight, but you know. Question is whether taking on c6 works. Taking on c6, pretty good move. Question is whether I can take on b4. Takes on 6, takes on b4. Rook a8 check. Bishop f8 just about holds. Okay. So... Okay. I don't like this one little bit. I suppose I could say I've got the two bishops, so I suppose I could claim that there's something helpful there, but I don't really believe it at all. Okay. Right, let's try and think. Pin the knight, attack the knight. He'll probably defend with a pawn, I think. I'm not sure what that really threatens, truthfully. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and get rid of the knight and avoid back rank nightmares. I think that's actually quite a decent move. So now I've got to play quickly and hopefully reasonably accurately. I might just play king g7 on the back of this, unless he plays knight h5, in which case I can't. I think his knight will go back towards the centre, probably should. Okay. Okay. Takes there. Well, well, well. Okay, I'm going to grab this way. I have to say, I think this is questionable. I mean, what's going on here? Equal pawns, right? Equal pawns. Just push, yeah. What am I going to do about that? I suppose what I'm going to do is this and make some spurious claim to activity. Try and get some kingside attack, right? But because if something doesn't happen quickly, I'm losing. Queen g4, g3, queen f3. I think Mark being Mark, he's a good attacking player. He'll realise, and he will take action. And the action he will take is h3, h3, g4, b7, takes, queens. Oh, I really don't have much time. I mean, I don't, in terms of tempo, in terms of chess tempo. h3, what do you do? Okay, that's a good move. All right. What's my point here? Let's push. So b7 will be a good move, but there's no b8 because my queen can take it. If the queen moves off the c line, then I take the rook. Okay. b7, h4. Queen c8, queen g4. Yeah. You know, good move. All good. Okay. I mean, I think, well, okay. So when the pawn's close to queening, I'll have a check on e3. But this is probably gone. Can't believe that. I cannot believe that white isn't winning this. Really. This. Oh, I'm getting my rook. I'm getting my queen pinned against my king. That is definitely lost. Yeah, very good, Mark. Well, we can play that. None of it helps. Well played. Okay, we need to do better than that. I'm going to go and take my wife her mobile phone. And then... Kelly, where are you? Okay. Ooh. Okay. Mark says if he's sorry, Jumbo. Looks like the Scandinavian with an exchange on d5. Maybe that makes the queen a bit more secure in the centre after that exchange. Okay, I've got to do better really than this. 0 points is not good. Maybe I'll do a bit of berserking just to clock some points. Okay, let's have a look. The bottom of the table. Mark says is top. Okay. Gareth versus Ian. Let's have a look at that one. Oof. It's just a Benoni where White's castle queenside, rather than having a knight on c4, White's got queen on c4. What do we think of this? Oh, time is low too. Looks like a really interesting game. I mean, you've got to slightly fancy black, haven't you? Not just because of the time, actually because of the position. I don't know, I think, for reasons I can't explain, I think black looks a bit better. But the white king isn't under immediate threat. It's actually quite drawish, I suppose. Not clearly, can't see how anyone would make progress really. Except for taking that undefended pawn. Okay. So I guess white takes twice and then plays knight g3. And has to do that quickly. Queen takes, rook takes, knight g3. Must be. And then probably can hold the ending. Don't like that. Gets pinned, doesn't it? Have to play king d2 or something now. I think the pin's a bit unpleasant. f5? I don't know. f5, gf, bishop f5. I'd have been inclined to just swap the rooks off. I think the endgame may be drawable, although not in 17 seconds. Yeah, king d2. Had to happen in the end. I suppose the d pawn's a bit weak. Off it all comes then. Takes, takes, takes. Now something has to go to c4, the king or the knight. Get the king in the centre, king e2. Oh well. Okay, knight c4. Oh, that's clever actually, because it's picking off the pawn. You know, white's got a chance in this endgame, if it wasn't for the time. I'm afraid it's just a time issue. It's actually a very interesting endgame. King g2. King g2, king e3. Hey ho. Good game, guys. Good game. Yeah, it's a good game, both. Okay. I'm going to have to come up with something now. Simba Caned is playing the black squares once the black square bishop comes off. Simba Caned is on a streak. Beaten Sir Jambo, beaten Matt C. Now playing against Pedro in the UK. I am not on a streak. Okay, Gareth Stevens. Let's do this. What does Gareth play against d4? I don't even know. This. Oh, he's going to play the... you know what he's going to play, don't you? He's going to play the Benoni. Having just been on the white side of the Benoni, he's now going to go on the black side of the Benoni. Castles. What do I play? Bishop e2 or something? Bishop e2. I think this is now the King's Indian 4-pawn, although they're very much related. Let's do this. So, who knows what's going to happen here, but you could argue that White's played the central break before Black's played his break. You could argue that. Oh, what about e6 here? e6 or f4? Bishop f4. e6. Okay, let's develop for now. Not quite sure what's going on. Play bishop g5, hit the queen. Okay, we'll play with bishop f4. It's okay, we'll do it. I think he might play rook e8, and I'm going to have to sack the e-pawn and play against f7. So what I'm sort of expecting here is rook e8, castle, and then a bunch of exchanges on e5, and then I'm going to attack f7. Just going to let it go. So I'm going to play, what I'll do is play pawn d6 at the end of the exchanges on e5, pawn d6, and then the idea is bishop c4, bishop c4, moves like knight d5, it's very uncomfortable. Weak squares on the king side. I think this is good value for the pawn here. Okay, that's a good move. Think. How about takes? How about this? This is my idea. And this. Then g4. I suppose the problem is queen g5. What am I doing about queen g5? Pass. Queen d5 check or something. Queen g5 looks incredibly unpleasant. And Gareth knows it. Okay, so I've got a sacked a piece here. Yeah, this might be just a disaster. Okay, I'm going to play this check. I don't know what I'm doing at all. This is absolutely appalling. Okay, this. Sort of making it up as I'm going along. Okay, this. There's no check on e4, but it's horrible. That's just losing this. It's just a disaster. Yeah, it's all going pear-shaped. White can resign this virtually, but I'm not going to, but I could easily. Even rook g1 fails to queen h3 checkmate. Great. I suppose, well, White's just got absolutely nothing. Okay. Jolly good, Gareth. Well played. Something takes like what? Knight takes or something? Okay. What am I down? Only a piece and a bunch of pawns. A piece and 3 pawns. What's that between friends? You really can resign this, to be honest with you. And I'm gonna... Well played, Gareth. Okay, I've got to come back a bit here, I think. I think I got it right. Okay. So we're at 0 out of 2 so far. That's not ideal, is it? I mean, it's, you know, joint last place. However you measure it. We've got to do better than this, I think. Weirdly, I'm not tilted. I'm actually just weirdly not bothered. Isn't that terrible? Should be bothered, right? Okay, let's have a game against Surrey Jambo. We'll do this doubling thing. I think isn't he a King's Gambit player? Oh, he's going to play the Perts, is he? Okay, well, let's play. I'm going to play a solid version of the Perts, I think, today. I'm going to play solid. So the idea is to play h3, bishop e3. h3, bishop e3. I'm expecting pawn e5. So, I don't know what I take back with on d4, but the e pawn is nice and secure. So I just castle, perhaps play queen d2, perhaps play rook d1, perhaps at some point play f4. I don't know if I take with the bishop or the... Oh, that's a decent move. That kind of forces me to make a decision, doesn't it? Okay, we'll take that way. I guess the e-pawn's blocking the bishop in. Then maybe we'll pin. I suppose I could get the... Well, we're going to castle before we have any grand ideas. Bishop g5 and knight d5, perhaps. Might be somewhat unpleasant, followed by f4. Maybe queen d2 first, so that the pin can't be broken with h6. Maybe queen d2. Queen d2. You know what? There's a backward pawn on d6, so queen d2. Bishop g5, rook d1, knight d5. I suppose. Oh, so bishop b7 isn't that much of a problem because do I care about that knight being pinned? I'm not sure I do. Is knight d5 a threat here? Well, I think rook a d1 is a threat. I think rook a d1 is a threat. I suppose the f4, no? I think f4 is the move here. The point being, taking on e5 now, you can take on f6 at the end. So it sort of creates stress for the knight. The knight needs to be defended. Maybe knight c goes back to d7. C knight goes back to d7, I think, or something. Yeah, okay. That's another way of doing it. I suppose we can hit the queen now, because that d5 square is very attractive. And now there's a check on e7, so the queen's got to be real careful. What about f5? Depends where the queen goes, but I think f5 looks quite attractive. Okay. Okay, not quite sure why, but I'm playing f5. Takes there. Oh, can he do a fork? It's one of those days. Okay, am I going to allow that? Got to allow it. Got to allow it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, it is what it is. I think I'm actually somewhat optimistic here about draw. Why a draw? Oh, you don't want to draw. No, no, no. I mean, you don't want to draw. Come on. I don't think a draw is a good result for this game. It's too interesting. Okay, so I've pulled a cheapie there. Cheapo. Managed to win the queen for 2 pieces. Okay. Good game, Keith. Okay. I was under pressure there. And I thought about the draw offer. Well, okay. So what's going on here? I fluked into 3rd place after some really, really bad chess. This guy's leading the tournament, right? Since he's leading the tournament, shall I be respectful? Let's play a respectful Sicilian defense. This, I mean, don't we all play g6 to this? So that after b4, we've got bishop g7. Okay, so now feels to me like we're going to transpose. Okay. Okay. I get it. It's a sort of closed Sicilian. I mean, I am strongly considering quick d5 here, which I think is really nice for black, actually. Maybe I'll castle before I play it. I suppose you could play e5. Nah. Okay. This is a little bit Grunfeld, isn't it? But it's a little bit just like, can we lock the bishop out, please? Although I may also play d4 if I'm allowed to. My own bishop doesn't have too many good squares, but maybe that's fine. Okay, a6. Is he going to play like queen e1, queen h4, all that? Are we scared? I don't know. Let's play this. Let's mix it up. This. So, the idea, I suppose, here... Okay. Is that what he wanted to do? Uh-huh. You're not meant to take this, then? Take with a bishop, right? Is the whole point is... Oh, is he going to play queen... Something fiendish like queen here. Okay, let's shut the bishop out of the game and start pushing the queen around and get my knight onto g6 where it can defend. I'm not very worried about this. I think the queen's got to go back, actually, because I think knight g6 virtually keeps it out. But you've got to be really careful in these lines for all sorts of obvious reasons. It's a good job the h-pawn's defending the knight, because the f-pawn isn't. Okay, so queen h5 in an attempt to keep it interesting. Maybe then I'm going to play bishop e6 in an attempt to make it boring. Okay. Now what I need to be able to do here is defend against knight g5, although you've always got h6. You can't. You've got to be careful you don't drop the knight. Okay. You've got to stop knight g5. This stops it. What's coming in the future for me? I suppose what's coming in the future is bishop e6. Why wouldn't you? What's been gambited? Is it a pawn? Yeah, that's a good move, isn't it? Just opening some lines. Okay, let's keep the bishop out of the game. This might be giving a pawn back. I'm not particularly worried about that. Probably is giving a pawn back somewhere. I don't think it's giving much more than a pawn back. A lot of taking on f4 here. That's alright. Bishop takes last, right? The bishop takes last, and then... can I pull something against that undefended bishop? Probably not. So I don't think there's a terrifying attack here. Okay. I think most things feel covered. I guess my rook's coming to the g-file, is it? I don't know. Looks alright, doesn't it? Maybe a move like king e8. I mean, you know, black's only even here. It's dead even. In fact, I'd say positionally, even white's a bit better. I think he'll exchange. They may not want to, having played such an attacking line, but I think probably white should exchange. It's fine, it's just an even endgame. Take with the a rook, I guess. Well, I will take with the a rook. I think backing the queen off, I don't know, I don't fancy I'd play queen g6. I suppose then he's got rook g1, so it depends. So maybe if he backs the queen off, I'll play rook g8 and we'll fight for the g-file. But I don't think there's a violent attack. I don't think white's got a violent attack here. Not particularly keen to play pawn e5. Just sticks my pawn on a bad square. Okay. I guess my queen's coming to f7. It's a bit grovelly, but it's alright. So, there's a little tussle for the g-file, which I think it's hard to escape the conclusion it's just going to end in all the major pieces coming off. Rook g1, is that what you're going to play? So I'm going to play bishop g7 here. Get the bishop back where it belongs. And then we're going to start thinking about endgames. It may be that white puts the queen in the way and accepts that okay, I'm defending the pawn this way. I'm still claiming I'm not going to get mated. Well, at least not in the near future. For some reason well, okay. Pin the bishop. What now? I'm really unwilling to play pawn e5. I'm going to centralise my king. I just don't like pawn e5. It might leave the h-pawn a little bit weak. It depends what the queen does. White's queen. Okay, well let's just leave the h-pawn a bit weak and see what happens. Is he trapping my queen? Got to be a bit careful with that, don't you? I mean, there's a repetition. Maybe you've got to accept the repetition. I don't think a repetition would be a disaster here, frankly. I suppose I could play h6 and try and stop it, but it does give the knight a nice square. Okay, I'll play h6 and try and stop it. So h6, then I'm going to play king f7. The repetition comes, I think, from bishop g5, which I've tried to prevent. So what's going on? We're dead even. Just dead even. I suppose king f7 and then... It's a good move, isn't it? Why not? But this doesn't... This is okay, isn't it? Just threatening the knight. I suppose after knight... I mean this. I'm not finishing my sentences. This. Attacking the queen. I think he'll take it. And then there's a check. And then there's a check. Queen in the way. What do I think of the endgame? Truthfully, I've no idea. Truthfully, I think black is a tiny bit better in this endgame. That's what I think. But it's all to play for. Is there a little trick here? Knight e5 and then there's a bishop check. Do we win a pawn at the back here? I think we may. I think we win at least... Well, we win a pawn and then we might have an outside pass pawn to play with. So, a pawn's going to try and get through. It's not the world's most complicated strategy. Okay, shall we defend that pawn? Here comes the knight. What's the knight going to do? What's the knight going to do? Well, we're about to find out. You know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to do this to reduce the knight's options. Because that bishop probably has to move anyway. How about this? Check. Then I can defend the pawn that way. Get the bishop a bit more active. Okay. That's a good move, isn't it? This guy's playing a lot of good moves. Okay. Yeah, alright. Keep on defending. It's a pretty tense encounter, isn't it? I still think, though, I can now start to mobilise that passed pawn. The king can't stop this. We're going to get to the point where not much can stop this. The knight might have to... Even the knight's going to struggle to stop this, actually. I think this chap's leading the tournament. Joseph. Playing really well. Push there. Oh, he's resigned. Thank you, Joseph. Really good game. Yes, very close. Okay. Well played. So I've managed to stumble into third place. No idea how. Okay. Alright, so this... Oh, of course it's 2 points because I didn't berserk, which I think was the right choice, frankly. So who's watching? Conciliator, who I think is very good at chess. One follower. Played a bunch of blitz games, followed by Ian Bush. Who are you, Conciliator? I've got my own theories, but I don't want to speculate. Is he playing or is he watching? He's watching, is he? Alright. I think I know who that is. Okay. Who's on, as it might be, top board? Mark Sayers versus Ian Bush. This is an important clash. Wow. Should we start from the beginning? Austrian attack. Okay. Instinctively I like black here, I've got to say. I just worry that white's centre's imploding. But who knows? It's a long way to go. A lot of chess to play. Gareth S, Jonathan Cumnor, Conciliator, Simba. We can watch the... Oh, look at Glenn versus Simnacane. Wow, Liam. Going for it. E6. I've got to know what's going on there. I've got to know what opening that is. What is it? Gosh. I mean, I love white here. Oh, it's this, Grand Prix, which is what he just played against me. Yeah, H5 is questionable, I suppose. Trying to stop the classic attack, but it's given Liam a new attack. Okay. Queen move's a good idea. I'll probably play rook e1 and play the endgame. But that's me. There's no king f7 because of knight g5 check. Queen's off. Alright, well, it's actually the same idea. Well, it's not quite the same, but it's a similar idea. No, actually, well, I don't know. Knight g5 looks quite interesting. With the threat of winning a piece. Rook f7. I suppose rook f8 stops it for now. Back to the arena. Some rook's got to go to f8, I think, here. Okay, I'm going to play something crazy and sacrificial this time. I'm going to try to play in an exciting style because I don't know why. I just feel like it. I mean, not crazy, but okay. So rook f7 check, isn't that winning for Liam? Yep. I think that's and days. Pedro in the UK. Hello, Pedro. I hope you're well. Let's play a bit of chess. I'm going to play something sharp. What's a sharp opening? Sicilian Defense is a sharp opening. Depends how it's played, but in principle it could be a sharp opening. Okay. I'm going to play the dragon variation of the Sicilian Defense. In fact, I'm going to pin the knight and attempt some form of cheapo. Isn't that sad? Okay, do I play knight d4 right here? No, I don't. Not quite yet, I don't think. Well, no, I want to. Knight d4, knight bd2. So what? So nothing. Okay. h3 takes an f3 and then knight e5. h3 takes an f3, then knight e5. Okay, good move. Okay, maybe that's stopping there. Some of this silliness. Is that a pawn for me? I'm claiming that's a pawn. Okay, now I want to take on f3 actually. Maybe trying to hit the rook somehow. I assume queen takes here. Don't think there's much wrong with queen takes. Maybe hit the rook, maybe coming to d4. It's not particularly good, but it's not particularly bad either. I think we're just saying we're a pawn up. I mean, I might get lucky hitting the queen. If the queen goes to the wrong square... Oh, actually no, because knight e2 is not check. Okay. Let's keep playing moves. My idea here is to redeploy the knight. After f4, it's queen b6. Okay. That knight's a bit loose on c3, but it's not an immediate problem. Maybe I'll put a rook on the c file. It's quite a good idea to put a rook on the c file anyway, isn't it? Why not? Maybe maybe you could argue that takes on c4, takes back, and then knight e6 is clever. Kind of hitting the bishop and the knight, although white can counter it with queen d2, bishop d2, bishop d2. Maybe the immediate knight e6 now because the bishop takes it. Okay, this is fine. I'm going to play this, and I'm going to just take the bishop. Then just claiming a slightly better endgame. I think that's a good move. I'm not sure of all the details, but it looks sensible. Really tempting me to play e6, which really weakens my d pawn, but then I can play bishop e5. Okay, my idea here is like queen b6 check and then queen e3 is my basic idea. I suppose forking two pawns, right? Forking on e4 and g5. I guess this is going to happen. I think I'm forking on e4 and g5. If the knight moves, then queen g3 is a beaut, but I assume the knight won't move. White doesn't have too much counterplay at the moment. The d6 pawn is secure. The rook on a2 is a bit weird, although not not terrible. That's a good move. Defending the pawn. Although not that pawn. I guess now rook c8, just exchange pieces. I'm going to exchange the knight if I can. Exchange major pieces. Try to win a pawn endgame. The knight can't really move, actually. Oh, got to put the power on. Oh. Interesting queen move. And not at all bad. Not at all bad. Let's block the file. This is slightly sort of pedestrian chess from me. I think Pedro's played really well here to force me into pedestrian chess when I wanted to play something a bit more thrilling. Alright. Oh, actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to play queen g3, which I think is really a bad one. Yeah, I think queen g3 is the end of game. Because it's hitting the knight and it's hitting a checkmate. I suppose there's king king g1, bishop d4 check, rook in the way, and I guess takes twice on takes on c3, possibly takes twice, probably takes twice on c3, because the piece is worth more than the exchange. King g1, Pedro. King g1, bishop d4, some rook goes to f2, and then I take on c3 with the queen. Yeah, no draw. That's fine, that's going to be enough. And then I'm going to put my bishop back on d6, pile up on the c file. Pile up on the c file, and then maybe play something like d5. Okay. I think those rooks have just got to defend on c4, but I suppose I can play bishop f4 and stop them. Yeah, this is going to go. Takes on, well, not necessarily, it takes somewhere. Keep the open file blocked. Okay, so I think it's bishop g7, and then we just push a pawn through. The king can't stop it. Actually, this is fine, just push a pawn through. That's a good move. Let's keep it all closed. I'm going to play a6 now to really make sure it's closed. No funny business, Pedro. Oh, he's played a6 already. Okay, well, in which case I'm going to have to play this to get the rooks off or win a pawn. And I think, well, you can't get the rooks off because then the pawn definitely queens. Jack. This. Okay, I'm going to take this pawn and then I'm just going to defend my pawns. I've got a nice central pawn chain, strong. Okay. I could play rook b3, rook b2. I'm not going to do that, because I think it's actually cheaper. I don't think it's actually correct. I mean, it wins, but it's not accurate, probably. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to play b3, keep the king out of it. Goodbye, Mr. King. I mean, it's not completely goodbye, but it sort of is goodbye. Now, a2. Yeah, the pawn's just queening because the bishop's covering the queening square. Wherever the rook goes, I'm taking. Actually, that's not always true. Maybe he'll just leave the rook there. Yeah, okay. Check. Okay, so it's kind of weird, but I'm just going to take the pawns off. Am I? There's no need for that. Just push a pawn through. The point is, probably white can't cope with two pawns, I would guess. Maybe a bishop check might stop making things worse. Yeah. You know, it'd just like me to stalemate this. I'm not going to stalemate it now. So if every move is a check, it can't be stalemate. That's the point, right? If every move is a check, it can't be stalemate. Thank you, Pedro. Okay. Thanks, P. Gareth is on fire. He had a similar start to me and now he's on fire. Shall we ask who is conciliator? Who is the conciliator? He or she is good at blitz. Gareth Stevens, tournament leader. Okay, Gareth, what are we going to play? We're going to play pawn f4. I've no idea why. Just no idea why. He's a d4 player, so he'll play the Dutch sort of thing. I don't know, I'm back into this these days. What? What's the plan, Stan? You're going to play the gambit? Oh, he's going to play it as a gambit, is it? With the extra tempo, there's no gambit. With the extra tempo, you can stop the gambit. I'm going to play c3. Do I play... Am I going to be really weird and play bishop b5? I might play a6 then. Okay. I've got a feeling that we're going to see knight e4. Ha! And then f5, Gareth. Is that what's going to happen? Is that what we've come to? Castle. You're going to play f5, aren't you, when I play knight bd2? In which case I'll play c4. I like this. It's very interesting. Okay. Knight bd2, f5, c4. What have I done to deserve this? I suppose after c4... Okay, that's hanging a pawn. Do I keep the bishop? Yeah, I keep the bishop. It's a good bishop. I keep the bishop. I've got Gareth a bit out of book here, I think. I don't think this is book. I'm not sure what h6. h6 may have been building up to g5. Oh, honestly, the naughtiness is without end here. But I don't like g5 anymore because I can take on c6 and open the centre. He might play it. But g5, I think black's too underdeveloped to play g5. Too undeveloped. I wouldn't say underdeveloped. Black, I would want to be more developed before I played g5. What's black's move? Bishop e7. What's white's move? I want to play h3, but I probably shouldn't. Maybe I should. Maybe h3 is a good move. h3. I want to play h3. Nothing wrong with it at all, actually, in my book. The only problem is that the bishop on c1 is very poor, but this is, I think, quite amusing. Alright, come on. We play this, we give black one horrid old weak pawn. More than one, we give black two horrid weak pawns. Yes, I am using the word horrid. Knight e5 is coming. I mean, bird's opening is a good opening, isn't it? So if there's, so how do you defend the g pawn with the queen? It's a good move, Gareth. Assuming you're watching this. I mean, why would you watch it? You don't have to watch it. You might not be. Knight It's a good move. Okay. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to just manoeuvre the bishop, develop the bishop, manoeuvre it onto c3, and then threaten the queen. No rush. Got the better endgame. That's good enough. That's good enough. Playing the tournament leader. He will try to attack violently. He's really good at that kind of stuff. So, I'll have my wits about me. But, well, is my kingside secure? It's not great. Where's the queen going to go? Queen's got to go. Queen's going to go to f7, and I'm going to go to knight e5. No, I'm not. Because it takes twice on e5, and I'll lose my queen. Queen f7. Point is that pawn d5 is a threat. Yeah. Hi there. The queen's weirdly kind of can't be attacked there. It looks bizarre, but how's it going to get attacked? And I'm going to play knight e5 soon. Why? I don't know why. Exchanges, I suppose. I want to open the F file. That's the idea. I knew there was an idea. Open the F file. Because if everything's exchanged, I think the pawn endgame is really good for white. It's a pawn up. Yeah, right, we'll open the F file. You persuaded me. So I expect here bishop takes, e takes, queen has to run. And then I think bishop b. I suppose. I suppose. Alright, I'll keep playing nonsense then. Let's keep playing nonsense move. Queen e6 check is the threat. I also want to swap the bishop. I love birds opening. It's so much fun. You know, the positions are different, right? They're novel. That's a good move. But I'm just going to exchange. It is a good move, but I'm just going to exchange. I'm going to play modestly. I'm going to play bishop d2, then I'm going to play c4. Just play modestly. Don't rush anything. c4, maybe c5. Just stopping the knight causing trouble. Just keeping things solid. Good move. Very sensible. So now I want the queens off. And the point about taking the queens off is I would say that that position is very good. Because, so pawn takes f5, queen takes queen. Yeah. It feels a bit rickety, doesn't it? Just feels a bit sort of like... I'm just gonna occupy the f file with my rooks now. At some point I may pin the knight against the rook with bishop a5, which just forces the weakening pawn b6. I'm not expecting to win anything, I'm just expecting to weaken the pawn structure. I think g's got to take here. You don't let me play f7, I don't think. G takes, rook takes, rook f8, rook f1, rook takes. Nothing remarkable, just saying I'm a pawn up. Yeah. Okay. Right. So I'm going to try to hold the file. Maybe I'll recycle the bishop onto the g3 square. After, of course. Too good, Gareth. You're too good. So he wants to... He wants to play down the h-file. Hopefully I'm not going to let his pieces become that mobile that this is a problem, but it's certainly a good concept. I suppose I'll take with the queen here. Taking with the queen I think keeps it safe. In fact, queen on that square is quite nice. Attacking g5, attacking e6. I've got a plan of e4, which will then attack g5. Got to be a bit careful taking on g5 that I don't get my queen pinned against my king. I think this is where maybe my bishop gets recycled. The point is, okay. Keep the queen away. Not a good idea to take on g5. I think the redeployment of the bishop to g3 feels like a good move. Yeah, I get it, Gareth, but I'm not doing it. Stopping rook h4. Going to attack the knight. My main idea is to attack the knight on c7. So what am I up? 1 pawn. It's not that much. And I think our kings are equally drafty. I did want to play e4, but that all those ideas are gone now because the bishop's somewhere else. Yeah, so Gareth's just going to say, right, and get my pawn back. Okay, so I'm going to claim this attack is really bad. I've not calculated it, but I just get the sense that taking the knight, taking back with the king, taking on e6, I don't think it's survivable. You just feel it. And Gareth will know too. But it puts him in a difficult position because if he defends the knight, e6 is still dropping. If he moves the knight, e6 is still dropping. So let's do it. Takes on a2, takes on c7, takes on c7, queen e6. And there's a lot of checks there. Takes on b2, rook f7 check. King goes to the back rank. I mean, maybe survivable. I don't think so. Maybe. Maybe I've not quite got that accurate. Maybe I play... Maybe possibly, after queen a2, you play rook f7 straight away, attacking the knight. Knight's got to move, then you take on e6 with check. And he's come back. Understandable. No, I think it's a technical win. Is it? Oh, it's going to be a technical win. King takes. No, can't have king takes. Must have queen takes. If the king takes, you pin the queen against the king. Okay, now what? Okay, let's just keep it technical, guys. Do we keep it technical? Yeah, I think since it's Gareth, we're going to keep it technical. Yeah, I haven't played that very well actually, because he'll exchange and he'll take on h3. Then I guess. Okay, so let's do it. I should have really done it before I took, but anyway, his time's a bit low. He takes on e5, I take on e5. He takes on h3. I check at the back. Rooks come off. Check. King c7. It's not perfect, is it? Yeah. Well. It's actually pretty tricky, this, for White. White's got to play pretty defensively here, I think. Okay, well, I can play defensively. Looks incomprehensible. The idea is takes, rook e8. Okay. Wow. We're on instinct, baby. We're on instinct. I think my advanced pawn's going to be useful. Rook g2, takes on h3, takes on b2, push the pawn. King, push, I don't know. Can the king get there? Probably can't. Okay, let's do it. Just for out of interest, let's do it. Okay. I think I'm going to try and win a pawn endgame here. I'm an extra pawn up. I think it's probably enough. Oof! You are so tricky, Gareth. That should not be allowed. Such trickery. It's a good move, actually. It's a good move. I don't think it gets him off the hook, but it's better than the alternatives. This? I don't know, this, I guess. What have I got? 2 pawns. It's enough. It's enough. What have I got? 2 pawns. It's not 1 pawn, is it? It's 2 pawns. Also got a little bit of time on the clock. Rook b6. Don't know, b4. I suppose we centralise the king in these positions, do we? King b3 is a good move, isn't it? I'm not absolutely sure I He's playing really well. He's playing really well. I think the problem is time, my friend, but you've actually played that brilliantly. I don't know this. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, thanks, G. Killer. Thanks. Yeah. Really played the endgame well. If you had more time, maybe a draw. Okay, so who's next? Loads of people. How are we doing? We're doing alright. Who do I fear? Ian Bush, Gareth Stephens, Mark Sayers, all of them. Jonathan Cumnor. I fear all of them. The modern defence, I've had a catastrophic 4 pawn today. So let's not do that again. If a thing went badly, let's not repeat it. Let's do something else instead. Okay, so this is interesting, this bishop g4 move. I guess the idea is that d4 can end up weak. I think I've got time for h3, have I? Or should I play bishop e3? I think bishop e3 might be the really classy response. e5, c5, something like that. e5 or c5. Okay, well, so I want to attack on the queen side here, and I want to claim that I can keep the king side quiet. Maybe play g3, bishop g2 at some point. Maybe that point is even now. Why? Because the bishop's lovely there, and actually he's seen it. Look, he's seen that maybe the risk of e5. But why compromise my pawn structure? Actually, why? Let's get the rook off the bishop's line. Okay, so is c6 a weak square? Do we try and establish a knight? Or we could push c5. For some reason that really appeals to me. Okay, let's try and play against the weak square c6. We're going to play knight b5, knight d4, knight c6. And we're allowed to do that because our knight's freed up by the defence of the e-pawn by the bishop. Of course, knight b5 is with tempo, so black may play a6. After a6, maybe queen a4. Ah, okay. Well, that's not bad at all. So I want to come to d4 and then come to c6. I mean, it is a fork, but the point is not the fork. The point is more just it's a nice square. It's hard to remove. I suppose the thing I've got to worry about is knight e5. So maybe I've got to play bishop. Yeah, exactly. Play bishop here. I mean, be very sensible to take on f3. Nothing wrong with that at all. If he doesn't, I think I'll take on a5. Knight h5 is possible here, I think. Hitting the b2 pawn. My plan's kind of gone pear-shaped because actually I need to defend d4 maybe. Well, maybe I'll just calm down, take it slow. Okay. I'll just not to rush really. I guess rook fd1 and then rook fd1. I'm going to play knight d4. Oh no, you know what I can play is knight a7. Ha! Knight a7 is the route to c6, not d4. Crazy stuff. Now I'm a bit happier, because now I think I could get a positional advantage here. That knight on c6 is an absolute pain for black. It's a tops double pain. I mean, I know he'll see the fork, but it's going to be attacking e7, it's going to be attacking the queen and the rook. So, you know, rook a8, knight c6, queen d7. And then maybe I might just play bishop e3 and claim I've got the better minor piece. I would say a lot better minor piece. Do I need to wait? There's a rather teasing knight b5, I don't think it's correct. Let's try and be a little bit mysterious with our ideas, but that knight's going to c6 every day of the week. I suppose I could have played queen e3, but it's a cheapo, just king h7. Okay, let's do this. Attack the rook. But now, he's played well here. I don't really want to give my... Okay. I don't want to swap the knights. I want to leave him with his bishop. I'm going to play queen e3, I think. Yeah, he's seen it. Okay. I can't work out if I'm threatening e5. I think I probably am. I think I probably am, because I think it's defended 3 times. Well, if I wasn't then, I am now. Pawn e5, there's no fork on d3 because the queen covers it. Pawn takes. In fact, I said I didn't want to swap bishops, didn't I? Well, I guess that's not going to happen anymore, but I've got some nice attack. So, but yeah, I don't want to take with the knight either. Maybe I do. The point is, e7's really sore. So pawn takes, bishop takes, rook takes. And how does he defend e7? There might be a way. But there might not be a way. If not, do I want to push? No idea. Probably not. So I think the best thing is not to take. Although, I can take twice on d6. Because the e-pawn's pinned. You've seen it all by the look of it. Well played. Can I sort of trap the queen kind of thing? Not fully trap it, but annoy it. I think this is a bad move, but not a terrible move. I suppose what I'm looking to do is to push e6 and then take back with the rook, not with the pawn. But the problem is, okay, so it's a long complicated sequence. So e6. Oh no, you can't take with the rook because the knight's covering it. Wowee. It's all pressure. Maybe I just take on d6 and play rook e7. It's not taking, it's just nice. The rook's very passive on b7. Good move, probably. I think that's a good move. Okay, so now defending d3. Got to be a bit careful about that. Okay, this way. Oh, I can take on e7, of course, with a knight. Maybe next move. I don't know if it was good last move. So complicated. Might have been good though. The fear was queen d3. And then you can't take, but maybe it's fine. Maybe just play rook d1 and you're a pawn up. Taking on e7. Ah! Okay, just take. What takes the pawn? I think it's got to be pawn takes here. Every day of the week. Then maybe knight takes. Or rook takes. Maybe rook takes. Rook takes is better. Rook takes. There's not too many threats here. I think, well, I think white has most of the threats here. What's he going to play? Queen f6. Then I think I might want to play rook e1. Or you could just take with the rook or the knight. It's a pretty weird position, isn't it? Why not? It's not a bad move at all. Okay. Is that going to fork my rooks? Maybe it is. Well played, my friend. Luckily, for me, I've got this. I'm not sure it gets me out of jail, but it's certainly a thing. And then, what, queen c3. Then I just move my e-rook to d1. Queen c3, rook d1. Isn't that fine? The stress never ends with chess, does it? So, I think that knight's dropping. Which is a cause of some relief to me. I hope I get Ian next time. I think it's time for me to play Ian. We're low on time, but I've got plenty of time. There's a lot of pieces left on the board, but I think the queens are going to leave the board pretty soon. Well, queen f6, queen g7, maybe not, but in which case my job is to take on d3, take on e7, get the major pieces off, try to win the endgame. Knight can't move because it drops the queen. Knight can't check. I think best practical chance is queen f6, I've got to say. Okay. That's another idea. Okay, queen takes. My son just came to visit. I think he's going to show me a chess game. Okay, hang on. What do? I take? If he defends it with a king, I think I take it, and then the check. Play the check. Okay, check. Okay, so the idea here, I think, is to play the check on c6, and it's kind of nice the knight's returning to c6 at the end. It's not mate. Oh, but you can win the rook. Yeah, you can win the rook. That's funny. Well played, Jonathan. Good game. Good game, my friend. Really positional. Isaac, have you got a chess game to show me?
Yeah.
Do you want to show the viewers Chess with Simon?
I know right now.
You can do. I'm in between games in this tournament.
I'll send it to you.
No, just you can show it on the screen, buddy, on the webcam. What?
I'll send it.
What happened?
I'll send you a screen recording.
Alright. Send me a screen recording. I'm off in 22 minutes. Roughly. Okay, I think I'd like one more game, and I think for this last game, I've been rather lucky, I think, to avoid Ian Bush in this tournament. Although, I played a lot of good players. I suppose Mark Sayers is the natural opponent, isn't he? Mark Sayers is looking dangerous, to say the least, against Simbakane. Simbakane went off to a really strong start, actually. But I think, yeah, takes on c7, right? Mark's looking good here. I think a match between, top is the full game, second is a good point. Okay, who's this? Gareth Stevens. Okay, why have you done this to me? Gareth Stevens. Okay, what are we going to play against Gareth? Let's have a think. Okay, we're going to play the Queen's Gambit Declined. Super solid. Super sensible. Well, we're not going to play the Queen's Gambit Declined, are we? We're going to play the... Oh, do you know what we're going to play? We're going to play Will Burt's Innovation. pawn e5. This is comedy. This is... We're going to play the Bert improved. With, not that you can improve on Wilbert, but this is knight c6. This is an attempt. It doesn't work. Okay, what do I have to play here? Do I have to let that pawn go? This is a disaster. It's already going really badly. I suppose I've got to play bishop e6 here. I don't like this at all. Yeah, this is not correct. c4, Gareth. Of course you're going to play c4. And then I'm going to cop out to some ending in which I'm worse. I suppose I could play a really grovelly, almost, okay, you've allowed this. Okay, in which case I'm going to castle long. This is absolute madness. I'm meant to be playing sensibly. You know. c4, d4. He's going to castle, and I'm going to castle. Maybe I'll play f6. Maybe I'll play f6. I think f6 is the right thing to do here. So I think castle, f6. My idea is it is long castle, but actually I'm not sure that castling long is really correct, because surely you're going to get the f-file. So what you really want is a bishop on c5 and the rook on f8. Let's have a look at my son's game while this is going on. Should I be doing this? He's just texted me a position. Okay. Oh, what a sack. Oh, yes. Nice win, Isaac. Oh, wins the rook at the back. Okay, I get the idea. It's a good game, Isaac. That probably wasn't very good television, that. Watching me watch my son's game. Okay. I'll try and play it. I'll try and put it on the screen at the end. We'll just, let's see what he did. This is a bit like the game that happened with Wilbert, isn't it? So, I guess takes with a pawn. And then I might castle long and just try and throw things. Or maybe c5. Okay, so I think black here... Or maybe b6. B6 and bishop c5. That. Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do bishop b... So, okay, we're just going to try and win this by force on f2. I'm not sure it's going to come off. I mean, not least because that rook looks well vulnerable. What about c4? I suppose you can get away with it with bishop c5, but it doesn't look great. Okay. So depending on where the queen goes, there might be a check on f2 here. I think I'm going to castle short. And I think this is... I'm just going to castle short and just try and make something of this. How about bishop h3? Just try and win it that way. I think bishop h3 looks pretty nice. I've got to say, I quite like black here because I'll tell you the reason. White hasn't developed the knight, and the knight's hard to get out now. So, after short castle, I think I want to play bishop h3. And then play moves like... I don't think he'll take it, but then I think I can play takes. Or maybe I... Okay, let's get the rook out of danger. And then let's see, maybe bishop g4 is better. You know, maybe we've got to be a bit tricky here. We're a pawn down, right? Just a pawn. Yeah, good move. Okay, I guess his bishop's got to come off. That is a hard conclusion to avoid. Okay. So now I think white's doing a bit better. I'm sorry to say. But I think bishop g4 is still a good idea. And then I think we play knight e4, hopefully leaving the... Okay. Okay. Alright, let's do it this way with some attacking prospects, right? With some attacking prospects. Pretty unclear. Obviously landing a knight on f3 would be splendid. It's a good move. Queen c6. I think oh, he'll put the knight back in the centre, but I guess that's just the way it goes, right? It's a good move. He's going to do that anyway. Well, it is what it is. He'll put the knight in the centre. So because I think taking on a7, I think queen b7 wins the piece. No, it doesn't. Okay, taking on a7, maybe queen a4 wins the piece. Okay, so takes on a7, queen a4, queen d5, check. Whoa! Not so good. He's done it. I don't really want to allow queen d5 check. So I think I'll have to play this way and just hope that knight's a bit out of play. Now my rook's threatening. Is he going to play f4? Okay. Fork, right? It just keeps on coming, Gareth. It just keeps on coming. The tactics just keep on coming. That's really irritating. Okay, I've got to play this, and you're just going to accept that he's doing really well here. Because he's going to go knight d4 now. He's not going to go for the draw. He'll go knight d4. Then I'll go... Then I've just got a real slog on. Okay. Well, now I can take, can't I? On f. Is it a fork? It's a fork on d4. Wow, does this ever get easy? Okay, I've got a fork too. I've got a fork on f3, and then I can hit the queen. So how's he going to stop that? It's quite hard to stop, actually. Knight takes f3 is quite hard to stop. Okay, so now we can play rook takes f3, right? How hilarious. Because the knight can't take... Oh, he's hit my queen! Okay. We'll play the endgame, my friend. We have to play the end game. What's the deal on pawns? You're a pawn up. Not for long, you're not. I've got a bit of pressure, though. Do I want to swap the backward pawn for my pawn? Don't think I do. I don't think I do. So what's my claim? I'm going to try and pass a pawn in the centre. Well, maybe actually I'll put my rooks on the f-file and play for attack as well. Pawn's off. Well, sorry, queen's off. Oh, what do we think? What do we think? Well, how about rook takes? Rook takes is a good move. We can still win a pawn here. Okay, so now we've got a better endgame. A little bit more time. We just need to keep calm. Now I think I'm happy to get the queens off. I mean, I may can I hang on? I think I can hang on to pawns here, can I? I don't think I'm necessarily losing a pawn. I might even win a pawn. Just bring the king up. f4. Well, f4. I think I put my rooks on the 7th. Okay, this needs calculating. Rook e2. Rook e2. Rook d5. Rook c2. No, it doesn't need calculating, it'll be fine. Just march my king up. I think it'll be fine. He says, after profound calculation. I just think if I get loads of checks, I just march my king up the board. Yeah, I don't think it's a draw. Because I think I can put my rook in the way as well, actually. But I think I'd rather just march my king up the board and just claim that those rooks are going to cause trouble with the white king. I mean, I think black has at least a draw here. And black is a pawn down. So black might want the draw. You can't, but, you know, black must have a draw here. Should we have a look at the tournament position? Oh, well, let's not say we did. Let's just play the best moves. I think what black can do is sort of keep threatening checkmate and then threaten to swap the rooks and all that sort of business. But if you get the king up there too, you can maybe threaten to win. Does Simon have a win after rook 8 d3? We can see this. All right. Okay, so I take on h2 here, and let's check. I mean, either way, I take an h2, I think. And I suppose the idea is to take off the pawn, keep calm, and just see what happens. White actually doesn't have a check here, bizarrely. So now what am I saying, a pawn up? It's already time though, isn't it? Okay. I think this might win another pawn, although I haven't done the variations. I mean, it ain't going to lose. I suppose rook c2. I'm going to take on a4. It's alright. It's all okay. Rook c2, I take on a4. And I'm just one move ahead, aren't I? So am I... Oh no, I'm not one move ahead because there's a check. So to guard against the check, I've got to play this. And then I can take the rook because I'm in the square of the pawn. Oh, Gareth, so tempting. Bad luck, old bean. Just no time. Winning his knight earlier. I'm not sure I could trap the knight. I think white had queen d5 check. Yeah. Terrible start. But okay, great game, everybody. That was really fun. P.S. that gambit to e5 was made famous by Will Burt. Great grading performance. All wins. Mark unbeaten. Okay, that's enough. This is Chess with Simon signing off, absolutely exhausted. Should we just look at my son's chess game, which he texted me? We're going to play it. Let's see if we can do this. What we're going to do is we're going to make the window. If any of you have waited for this, congratulations, or not congratulations, but just thank you. Here we go. Can you see this? It doesn't really work, does it? Too shiny. Alright, it hasn't worked. This is Chess with Simon signing off. I hope you're all enjoying your chess. I'm enjoying my chess. Thanks to all my opponents tonight. Great games. See you all soon.